cherubs. It's so wonderful to have you here with me today, and I'm so excited because today we're going to be exploring space. Yes, my darlings, we're going to be exploring not up there with the planets, but we're going to be thinking about how artists use the art element space to create artworks. And there are so many ways that we might think about it. Do you know what? It's such a lovely day in Doodleland. I thought we might take a little wander out and see if we can find out more about how we can use space. Oh, hello, my cherubs. Isn't this lovely? We're out in the countryside, breathing in the fresh air and listening to the birds. And you're probably wondering, why has the Duchess brought us here? Well, I thought this might be an opportunity for us to explore positive and negative space. Yes, let's have a look. Now, when we think of positive and negative, we think of good and bad. But when we're talking about positive and negative in art, and we're talking about space, they are very important to each other. Negative is very important because it helps us understand how we can organise our picture a bit more. So let's take a look. If we look over here, look at our lovely little tree. There he is, far away in the background, and all around it is the negative space. Goodness, there's so much negative space. There's more than the positive. But let's take a look and see what happens when we go a little bit closer and we change where our positive is. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Our tree is right in the middle this time, and the negative space is all around it. But there's less negative space, and there's a little bit more balance. Let's see what happens when we change again and we go a little bit closer. Oh, here we are, we're inside the bushes, darlings. Oh my goodness. And as you can see, there's more positive than there is negative. And do you know what? Sometimes you can look so closely at something that you can't tell if you're looking at the positive or the negative. Sometimes artists have played with that a little bit, and other times artists feel that the negative space is more important to look at than the positive. It's how artists play. Shall we have a little play now too, my darlings? Let's go. For our exploration, we're going to need a white piece of paper, a colour or black small square piece of paper, a pair of scissors, a pencil and a glue stick. So we've got our negative space all around, and then we've got our positive space, which is our square. Now at the moment it's just a square, but we're going to change it, and we're going to cut our square up, and then we're going to play with the shapes and our negative space. Now, I find it most helpful with this project if you make sure you turn it so it's at a diamond shape. I'm going to cut my shape into 6 to 7 different sections and change the shape each time, but not too much. Sometimes ziggy-zaggy lines, sometimes straight lines, and sometimes curvy lines. Just make sure it's only 6 or 7 shapes. So, I've already created a very interesting image by putting negative space in between. But let's see what happens when we move these shapes around and use our space in a different way. There we go. I've used my negative space and organised my shapes to create an ocean landscape. This time I might try organising my space differently and concentrate on the object close up. There's a little fishy for you! Woohoo! Well, what about this? So you can enjoy playing around with your space and organising your objects and areas in different ways, thinking about how you use your negative space and your positive space. When you've decided on your final arrangement, you can take your glue stick and glue on the back of your pieces very carefully all around the edge, and then make sure you use Mr. and Mrs. Smooth to smooth it down so it's flat against your paper. You could even do something like this. You could give your negative space a watery background. Here's another one. my tropical fish, and I used a little bit of extra paper to add some details. So enjoyed exploring space with you today, my darlings. Now it's your turn. Doodaloo!